The Lost Slippers. Daddy was very pleased because Mummy had given him a beautiful new pair of slippers for his birthday. They were bedroom slippers, very soft to wear and lined inside with brown wool. "Aha," said Daddy, putting them on. "Now my feet will be warm." Peter and Betty wished they had slippers like Daddy too. "Mummy, our slippers are wearing out," Betty said. "Couldn't we have some small ones like Daddy's big ones? We would so love to be like Daddy." "Very well," said Mummy. "I will buy you some next week when we go by the shoe shop." So very soon, not only Daddy had nice warm bedroom slippers, but the two children had as well. They put them on and danced around the nursery in them. "Look," Betty cried to Cinders, the black cat. "See my new slippers." "Look," Peter called to Spot, the little terrier puppy. "Don't you wish you had slippers like mine, Spot?" Every night Daddy put his slippers on when he got home, and every night the two children put theirs on when they went upstairs to bed. Betty's were blue with brown wool inside, Peter's were yellow and Daddy's were brown. And then a strange thing happened. The slippers began to disappear. First, one of Betty's went. Mummy was cross about it. "Haven't I told you, Betty, to put your slippers away carefully when you go to bed?" said Mummy. "But I did, Mummy," cried Betty. "Well, you couldn't have," said Mummy, "or they would both be under your chair this morning." That night, one of Daddy's slippers disappeared. It was really most mysterious. Nobody could understand it. Betty had put both Daddy's slippers to get warm by the fire, and when Daddy came in and sat down in his chair to take off his shoes, there was only one slipper for him to put on. "Ah, Betty," he called, "where's my other slipper, darling?" "Isn't it by the fire, Daddy?" asked Betty in astonishment. "I put it there." "Have you been having a joke and hidden it, Peter?" asked Daddy. Peter was fond of playing tricks, and Daddy thought it might be Peter who'd run off with a slipper for fun. But Peter shook his head. "No, Daddy, I haven't touched your slippers. Really, I haven't." "Well, it must be about the room somewhere, that lost slipper," said Daddy. "Hunt about and find it. Perhaps it's under my chair." The two children hunted about everywhere, but they could not find Daddy's slipper. So he had to put on his old ones, and he was quite cross about it. The next slipper to disappear was one of Peter's. Yes, it really did. Peter knew quite well he'd put them carefully under his chair when he got into bed, but the next night one was gone. Only one slipper stood under his chair. "I say, this is getting a bit too mysterious," said Peter. "Is it magic, do you think, Betty?" "I don't know," said Betty, puzzled. "It's so strange, Peter, because anyone who wanted the slippers to wear would take both, not one. All our slippers are different sizes. One is no use to anyone." Mummy was annoyed about the slippers. "They must be somewhere," she said. "Betty and Peter, you must just hunt about everywhere today until you find them. It must be carelessness. There is no other explanation." "Come on, Cinders, come on, Spot, and help us to hunt for the slippers," said Peter. So the cat and the dog and the two children hunted everywhere for the lost slippers. They looked under all the beds. They lifted all the chairs. They hunted in every single cupboard. They even looked in the larder, though Cook said if they found any slippers there, she would be more surprised. They didn't, of course. Then they went to look behind the cushions. No slippers were there either. It was most puzzling. Cinders and Spot trotted all over the place with the children, sniffing here and there. At last the children came to the shelf on which stood the three remaining slippers, one of Daddy's, one of Betty's, and one of Peter's. They did look funny, all odd by themselves. Spot ran up to one of the slippers and took it into his mouth. He threw it up into the air, he caught it, and then he began to shake it like a rat. Then he ran off to his big cosy basket with it. "Hey, Spot, don't you steal any of our slippers," cried Peter, and he ran after the puppy. But Spot quickly took the slipper under his warm rug and lay down on it, all his legs in the air. "Betty, perhaps Spot has taken our slippers," cried Peter. He ran to the basket and tipped the puppy out. Then he lifted up the big warm rug, and what do you suppose he saw? Yep, you're quite right. All the lost slippers were there, as well as the one that Spot had just taken. There they were, neatly tucked under the rug, all a little bit chewed. "Mummy, Mummy, we found the lost slippers," cried Peter. "Come and look." So Mummy came, and when she saw where they were, how they laughed and how they scolded the naughty puppy. "We must keep them where he can't get them," said Mummy. "So now all the new slippers are kept safely in a cupboard, and Spot isn't allowed to put so much as a whisker inside the door." "Now we can all have warm feet at night again," cried Betty. "You naughty little Spot. Wait till you have nice new slippers given to you. I'll run off with yours."
"Woof!" said Spot. "If you wait till I wear slippers, you'll wait a long, long time."